Hello everyone, welcome to the Engineering Projects YouTube channel. My name is Shahid, and in this video we are going to learn about how we can convert WordPress website into ASP.NET Core. So before get started, we need to understand why not WordPress? Why not we are making solution on WordPress? Why are we converting from WordPress to ASP.NET Core? And on the second hand, we need to understand why ASP.NET Core as a software solution? Why not WordPress? Okay, so when we are talking about why not WordPress, then there are several reasons. The reason number one is limited scope. WordPress are only for the bloggers. It is not for the software as a solution and software as a service model. It is not unable to extend your existing application to the cutting edge technologies. You cannot enhance custom features as you are required. You need always a plugin, and which is a totally dependency upon your application, such as you have a plugin which have some files which you already included in your project, so the redundancy of files make a load on your server, and that's why the performance of the application is get low. So the second one is plugin dependency, which I have already explained. As much as you use plugins, it will degrade your application efficiency. Theme dependency, it is same as the plugin dependency. If you have added 3 or 4 themes but you are using only the one theme, then the other rest of themes are adding dependency upon your application performance, and which is the negative point for your solution. The fourth one is the speed and efficiency, which is the most important part in every solution. Okay, so now talk about why ASP.NET Core. It have the limited scope compared to the WordPress. You can create any software solution. You can create software as a service. You can create a platform as a service. Whatever you want to develop, you can do that in ASP.NET Core. Even that, you can create such systems which can be retailed. There is no dependency. You don't need to inject any plugin to enhance the feature, but you need to extend it with the libraries by which you can develop your own custom code. Such as you want real-time notification, you need to add library of SignalR for this purpose, but it will not uh, add any dependency upon the efficiency of your application. It's just used to extend the application scope. It is the biggest point of ASP.NET Core is that it is cross-platform. You don't need to work on Linux, you don't need to work on Mac OS, you don't need to work on Windows. You will create a one solution which will be run upon all the rest of the servers. How it is beneficial for you? Such as you have a school management system which is developed on ASP.NET Core, and on the same hand you have developed that system on ASP.NET or any rest of server language. A customer comes to you and he said, I have many solutions running on Linux servers and I can't purchase your solution just because the cross-platform ability. You are not giving me a cross-platform because I have a Linux server and I cannot deploy ASP.NET Core on Linux server. I have to purchase Windows server for this only solution. And if you have developed the same solution in ASP.NET Core, you can win that customer by saying it is a cross-platform. You can run it on Linux, you can run it on Mac OS, you can run it on Windows. It's totally cross-platform and there is no dependency upon servers. Now the last point is the speed and efficiency. Due to its cross-platform ability, there are special libraries are built for .NET Core which is called .NET Core libraries. In ASP.NET, they have .NET Framework libraries, and now we have .NET Core libraries, which are more efficient and reliable, stable compared to the ASP.NET. And the last and most important thing, it is one-stop solution. You will build once and use multiple times because of the cross-platform ability. Microsoft specially designed ASP.NET Core to just compete the Node.js, and that's why they have add a lot of feature so people will not use Node.js and start using ASP.NET Core. Okay, so this is the .NET future innovation structure. We are using previously .NET Framework, in which we have WPF, Windows Form, and we are working with ASP.NET MVC. And now we have .NET Core, in which we have ASP.NET Core in the different flavors. Right now there are 3 flavors, Core 1, Core 2, 2.2 and Core 3, which is recently released, but we will work on Core 2.2, which is stable. The Core 3 is under preview. And this is the Xamarin, which is the cross-platform smart application framework for Android, iOS and macOS, etc. Okay, the tools will be same. We will use Visual Studio, and you can also use Visual Studio Code. The standard library will remain same, .NET Standard. If we are working with .NET Framework, the same library will be included. And if we are working with .NET Core, we have .NET Standard library, and we also have the cross-platform library, which is .NET Core libraries. The rest of the architecture will remain same. Okay, how convert existing WordPress site into core? This is the major problem which we need to solve. We have existing website, theenggprojects.com, on WordPress, and there is a lot of factor by which we are suggested to develop our own application in ASP.NET Core, and we are starting to develop that. And during the development we are making its tutorial so that our user will get to know how to convert a real WordPress website into ASP.NET Core. Okay, so we have simple steps. We are using DB first approach because we have existing application, and whenever you have the existing application on its maturity time, the database was matured, and you don't need to work on, and you don't need to brainstorm on the database architecture, which is already built. So we have WordPress database which is already built. We will create models based upon these database tables, such as we don't need to worry about what information we have to store when user will register, when user will log in, and anything user will do. So we will get the models from database tables. Then we need to write our own code for DB transaction. It will enhance the efficiency and speed of the application. How? We have a different structure for each feature of our application. We don't need to use the same model, same classes, same DB structure and same transaction structure. We will create an independent transactional structure for database. In this way, each module will work independently. In the WordPress there is no dependency. If you will just change a little code in any working area, the whole application will get stuck, such as you have faced many times. If you will add any plugin which is not enabled with your WordPress version, then the whole application is get stuck and you have to remove that plugin, and which is the big mess in the WordPress. So we are going to create the independent code. In this way, if any module it gets stuck, it will not uh, add any error on the whole application. We will write our own logic to remove the plugin dependency, such as if you are a WordPress user, you know there is a Yoast for the SEO, and it is adding a lot of weight upon the application performance. So we are going to create our own plugins to remove the dependencies. We will read the plugins, create our own logic, add that logic into our ASP.NET Core application. Okay, before getting started with the development, you need to understand the ASP.NET Core, which we are going to do in the further this video. We need to understand the basic architecture, the basic files and folder structures, and the basic purpose of each and every file. As you know, if you have watched my previous ASP.NET MVC tutorials, I have explained about the MVC completely. What is the view, what is the model, what is the controller, what is the routing, and how you can add routing, how you can do view model approach, and each and everything we have explained. And we have almost 400 video tutorials on ASP.NET MVC which you can watch on our channel. Okay, you need the latest version of Visual Studio to work with the ASP.NET Core. We have in the previous video series we have ASP.NET MVC, for which we have used Visual Studio 2015, and now we are working with ASP.NET Core, for which we are using Visual Studio 2019 preview, which is recently released. You can easily download. It is almost of 1.5 GB, which you can easily download from Visual Studio official website. And let's get started with Visual Studio. So this is Visual Studio 2019, in which we are going to develop our application. So this is the simple structure to getting started. If there is a code, you can clone, you can open existing solution, you can open existing folder, you can create a new project. There is a many other options too, but we are going to create a new project in ASP.NET Core Visual Studio 2019. I have clicked here and it will take some load to render the next step. So it is the next phase in which we have to select which application we want to add in our solution. So we want to add the ASP.NET Core web application. Click here and then next. You can also see what technologies and server-side areas you can cover in this: Windows, Linux, and Mac OS, and web and C#. Next, here we need to add the application name. So we have a tutorial base. We are working on the basics, so name it basic. Okay, place solution and project in the same directory. Okay, place solution and project in the same directory. This is the name of the solution, and create. And now it is start creating your project. It will ask about what is the structure you want to create. It is rendering now. So now it's time to add what type of application you want to build. So we want to build a web application based on model view controller. Okay, so let's create. You can read that a template create in ASP.NET Core with the example core MVC view and controller. Okay, so this project is built-in MVC, and we don't need to get the built-in MVC. We need to create a simple project which doesn't have the MVC. But right now, for the tutorial purpose, we are working with this. Here you can see we are using .NET Core framework, and here we have Core 2.1, and click on create. Okay, so now the project is creating. Now our application is built, and here you can see a complete solution within the Visual Studio 2019 environment. Here we have controllers, views and models same as the ASP.NET. Here we have startup class, program class, app setting and web route properties dependencies, which is same as ASP.NET. Here we have the cloud services, which are we are not using right now. This is the same solution which we have in the ASP.NET Core. Okay, here we have some properties such as the launch settings. It is here we will define the behavior of the application, either it is in the development mode or production mode, what are the command type, what is the application URL. You can also define the port here and different settings and the application default port. If you have SSL enabled, what will be the port will be allowing that. Here it will be defined. Next we have the startup.cs in which the routing and different things are defined. In the ASP.NET MVC we also have the startup class, but we have different routing class, and here in the startup CSS we have the configuration startup, the configuration services, environment setup. It is explaining us the environment setup, which comes from the launch setting. Here is the default error page, and here is the default routing which is available in the different class in ASP.NET MVC, and in ASP.NET Core we have all-in-one startup CS. Then we have the same program CSS which is enabled in ASP.NET Core, ASP.NET MVC, which is same, but the simple some syntaxes get changed, the rest of things are same. The app setting.js is work same as the web config, or the launch setting is same as the web config of the module, and the rest of things are same, like views, models and controller. And in the root we have some common things which are available to visible, such as CSS, images, JS, some different libraries of JS, favicon, etc. Now you can see we have a limited folders and files compared to ASP MVC. There are a lot of files in ASP.NET Core. They have compressed them and create a one-stop solution, obsolete some files. There are a lot of files such as web config, etc. in each module area, web config, so on, the things they have obsolete. Okay, when you will right click here you can view or execute the application in the specific browsers. The same negative package manager is available here. You can start up projects. If you have multiple projects within the solution, you can add or select a startup project, which is same as ASP.NET MVC. So we have understand the simple structure. Okay, now what we will do, we are going to create a basic controller. Here is the controller which is already built, but we are going to create an other controller to just understand its structure. And here we have added a controller. Okay, let's name this controller, okay, MVC empty controller. I need it. Rest of the things are same as ASP.NET MVC. Name it as basics. Okay, so now our basics controller is get created here. Okay, in the startup I will go and replace the home controller with the basic controller, so that when I will execute the application, my basic controller is execute on the home page, not the home controller. Okay, so right now the scaffolding process is working. It is same as ASP.NET MVC. You don't need to be worried about the ASP.NET Core if you are already a developer of .NET or C#. It is really easy. You just need to understand the folder structure, file structure and purposes. And if you are ASP.NET MVC developer, it is really easy to shift in the cutting edge technology of ASP.NET Core. So here we have a controller sample. As you know, in ASP.NET we have to extend that from the controller, same as here we have done, and in there we have action result, and here we have I action result, and the rest of things are same. Okay, let's go to the startup, and here you can see this is the default name of controller. Here we have, so let's change its name into basics. So we have changed the startup controller, which is this. Okay, now right click here and same click on add view to add new view in ASP.NET Core. The name will be same, not using anything, the rest of things will be same. A scaffolding is processed, a view will be added under the controller folder. As we have two controller folders, so we have two views folders in which action based views are added. You can also add the partial view if you need to use that in your application. So here you can see this view is added. Let's go to the view. Here is the basic controller and here is the view. Okay, so I can execute this application in the browser Chrome. Okay, so the default browser is this. So let's execute and see what's happened. So here our application which is executed. Okay, so now let's see. Here we have 44303 port, which comes from here launch setting. You can see the SSL port is 44303. If we are not using SSL, then the default port will be working on this. Okay, and here you can see we have index. Let's change basics and save it, refresh, and here you can see this is the index of basic. Here it's get changed. Okay, I have accepted the policy, and the default layout will be rendered automatically until we will not define our own shared layout. In the view you can see this is the layout which is automatically get called, which is this. Okay, you can change it, such as you can change contact to contact us, save it and refresh this, and you will see the reflection here. Instead of contact, there will be the contact us, like this. Okay, you can create models. We already have create views, controller. Now you can create your own model, and the rest of the things same. let's see their own created home controller. Here you can see how the structure worked. Okay, they doesn't use any model right now, just error model. Let's press F12 and inspect this. Here you can see the model structure is same as we have created in ASP.NET MVC. The rest of the things are same. You don't need to worry about the controller, model and views. You just need to shift this controller into this controller. If you have existing .NET application, you need to shift models into models, views into views, and controller into controller. And you just need to worry about the startup. You need to define the routes in this structure. If you have defined route in ASP.NET MVC, you can copy that route and implement them in this structure, and the rest of things will be the same. If you are working with the Dalbal, you can create that here too. If you are working with Entity, Dapper, and Hibernate, KI and Hibernate, you can use them here too with the help of Nugget Package Manager. You can add for the whole solution, you can add for the independent project, and so on. You can create that. Okay, And when you have completed the development, you can easily build the project and deploy that upon your any server. Here you can see I can configure continuous delivery for Azure. So we are not using Azure, so we are deploying this application upon our local host IIS. Okay, so I hope this is informative. If you have any kind of question regarding this, you can ask us. Don't forget to subscribe the Engineering Projects YouTube channel. In the upcoming video tutorial, we are getting started with the development of WordPress to ASP.NET migration. So I hope you will like this tutorial series. Take care, have fun.